Welcome to Ladies Talking Love, Episode 1. I'm so excited to have you here on the first ever episode of this podcast. Today, we're going to cover a little bit about what you can expect going forward from this podcast and why I decided to start it in the first place. Let's go ahead and dive in. It's Ladies Talking Love, a community of women uncovering more joy and fulfillment in sex as we learn from experts and amazing women like you. Together, let's create a world where women's sexuality is celebrated and understood, beginning with our own. I'm your host, Ariel Finlinson. Let's talk love. I don't know how many of you grew up like me, but sex was pretty much a dirty word, and I was scared to use it or say it. As I've gotten older and started to talk with women from all generations, I realized that a ton of women actually struggle with sex after getting married or being with a partner. And I was in that boat because, as I just said, I had no concept of it. It wasn't something that was talked about. As you join me in this podcast, I hope that changes, that it becomes a beautiful topic for your family, for you, and that you're able to embrace your sexuality with compassion and love and joy and come away so surprised by how amazing it is for you to feel like a whole person as you embrace your sexuality. I heard recently this quote from Sarah Barkman. She said, "Women's sexuality is not a mystery. It's not complicated. Women's bodies are not Rubik's Cubes any more than men's bodies are. It's just we haven't taken the time to really listen to women and prioritize women's pleasure." Such a good quote, right? Have you thought about that before? We're not that complicated. It's just that people haven't prioritized women. So that's what this podcast is for. We are going to prioritize women and understanding our sexuality and how our bodies work. And of course, we're all individualized, and so it'll be a little different from all of us. But as we join together in this community and learn together, I think that we can help not only change ourselves and our own experiences with our husbands or partners, but I think that we can help change the culture in the world. This is a place where women's sexuality will be celebrated and understood. And I'm so excited that you're going to join me on this journey. I remember as a young girl overhearing a conversation of two women, and they were talking about sex. And one of the women just made this comment offhand that you just need to have sex with your husband. It only takes 15 minutes. Just keep him happy. And you can't imagine how much that little comment influenced my life and me going into my marriage. So many harmful views that weren't just from that comment, but were perpetuated in our culture and society, that I really thought that sex was more about men. And what I was experiencing and feeling wasn't as important. Going in with this view, it wasn't long before a lot of resentment built up and a lot of hurt, that I wasn't being fulfilled and I didn't know how. And my husband, frankly, didn't know either. Our communication wasn't great and we didn't have resources. No one had really talked to us and we didn't even really know that I could be a huge part of it. Something inside me just knew that wasn't right. I knew that I could be, and I knew that sex was supposed to be something that bonded me to my husband and that we were missing out on something really big. As I started to study and learn and find research and resources about sexuality, religious talks, I realized that women were not living up to their privileges. As I learned and I changed and I grew, I found that I could have joy and fulfillment in my sexual relationship with my spouse and that it was beautiful. And I was so frustrated as I talked with so many women who would make comments like, "Oh, I don't like sex. After having a baby, I wait as long as I can and just tell him that I can't have sex." And just all these comments, I felt frustrated that women weren't realizing their potential for joy and fulfillment. I wanted so badly to help women see what they could have. And that's what led me to start this podcast. And I'm grateful that you're here, willing to learn along with me. I still have so much to learn and so much to improve. I'm so excited to invite sexuality experts onto this show to share research and insights, address relationship and sexual challenges, and teach practical tools to help you uncover and embrace your sexuality so it can be a beautiful and thriving joy in your intimate relationship with your partner. I also really look forward to hearing from women in this community. I hope that you can share some of your journeys and successes with us in overcoming sexual challenges and obstacles. We can help change the world as we learn wisdom from each other. Please make this podcast your own. I'd love to hear all of your recommendations for topics and guests. I know we have such busy lives and schedules, and unfortunately, our sexual learning and development is usually something put on the back burner. I'm here to gather the information you need to uncover more joy and fulfillment in sex into bite-sized episodes with several actionable ideas so that you can listen on the run. Thank you so much for joining me and creating a world where women's sexuality is celebrated and understood. Join the conversation at ladies.talkinglove on Instagram and tag your friends who would like to participate. You can also check out our website, ladiestalkinglove.com, where you can access each episode and join our exclusive newsletter. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Instagram or by email to hello@ladiestalkinglove.com as we learn together. Thanks for talking love.